Hey y'all, this is Miss Nash. Today we're going to be solving equations in real life. Our goal for today is to be able to set up and solve equations that represent real-world situations. Our instructions today are to find the variable, the equation, and the solution for each of these word problems, finding the answer for whatever variable it is that they're asking us to find. So for number one, it is asking, a student bought 2 juice pouches for $1.25 each and 3 bags of chips. The total cost was $5. Write and solve an equation to determine the cost of the bag of chips, C. Since we are looking to determine the price of the bag of chips, we know that our variable is going to be price of chips. Now it's time for the equation. We are told that the end result of this transaction is going to be a total of $5.05. So that is going to go on our left side of our equation. We've also been told that they bought 2 juice pouches and the price of each of those was $1.25. So we can put 2 and then inside the parentheses 1.25 to represent our juice pouches. We still have the chips in the transaction, and since we only know that they bought 3, we can put that there, but we do not know how much the chips were. So right next to the 3, we'll put our C there, which will represent the chips. And now we can go ahead and solve this equation to find out how much each bag of chips cost. Okay, so let's get started solving this equation. What is our first step going to be? First step is going to be multiplying 2 times the 125, which will get us a total of 2 times 125 is 250. So we're going to put that right down there. And then we can go ahead and take 505 and take away the 250, which will leave us with 255 equals 3C. In order to get that C by itself, we're going to divide by 3, which leaves us with C equals 85 cents. And that is our answer. Okay, on to number 2. 4 brothers each bought 2 hot dogs and a bag of chips at the football concession stand. If the bag of chips was $1.25 and the total was $18.20, what was the price of one hot dog? Well, we could start with the variable, which we know is going to be the price of a hot dog. Price of hot dog. Now, if we're going to set up our equation, we are going to put the 1820 at the beginning of our equation because that was the total. Now we need to figure out how to build this equation. First off, we know that anything that we are calculating is going to need to be multiplied by 4 because there are 4 brothers. So we're going to put our 4 right there, and then inside of the parentheses, we're going to put our known price, which is going to be the 1 bag of chips, which we know cost $1.25. And we're going to add in our unknown variable, which is our hot dog. And let's look at how many hot dogs each brother bought, which was 2. So we'll put 2x right there. So that there is going to be our equation. And I'm going to move over to a blank page for us to solve this out. It's time to solve. What is going to be our first step here? Our first step is going to be to distribute this 4 over to the other elements of this equation. So we're going to start with 4 times 125, which equals 4 times 125 is going to be 5. And then we're going to add our 4 times 2x, which is going to give us 8x equals 1820. Now we're going to get this 5 out of the way, and we're going to subtract that from 1820, which is going to give us a total of 1320 equals 8x. Now again, we want this x by itself, so we're going to divide by 8 on both sides, leaving us with a total of 165 equaling x, which is our total for how much each hot dog costs. Okay, on to number 3. The ages of 3 siblings are all consecutive integers. The sum of their ages is 39. How old is the youngest sibling? Our variable, our x, is going to be our youngest sibling age. All right, and we know that consecutive integers means that each time the age is going to go up by 1. So we know that the total is going to be 39 equals x, which is going to be our youngest, plus the second oldest sibling, which will be plus 1, and then the third oldest sibling, which will be x plus 2. That is going to be our equation, and I'm going to go over to another page to solve this out for us. All right, our first step here is going to be to add together all of our like terms. So let's pretend there's a 1x in front of this, and we're going to do 1x plus 1x plus 1x, which is going to leave us with 3x, plus we've got our 1, 2, and 3. 3x plus 3 equals 39. We're just going to solve this out. We need to get the x by itself, so we're going to do minus 3. So it's going to be 3x equals 36. Divide this out. And what is 36 divided by 3? It's going to be x equals 12. The youngest sibling is 12 years old. All right, so I knew I was going to run out of room, so I've gotten us more room to do number 4. This is going to take us a couple different steps. The length of a rectangle is 8 more than twice its width. And the perimeter is 96 feet. We are going to be finding the dimensions of the rectangle. Our variable here, which we do not know, is going to be our width. To help us out a little bit, I'm actually going to draw us a rectangle so that we can visualize the dimensions a little bit better. We know that our width is going to be represented by a W, so we're going to put W on both sides. And we don't officially know the length, but we do know that it is 8 more than twice the width. So 2 times the width plus 8, that's going to be our length. So we'll put that on both sides as well. Now, we know that the perimeter is 96. So perimeter is what happens when you add all sides together, meaning we are going to have to set up an equation where all of these are set up. So we just need to combine like terms. So we've got 1W, 1W, 2 W's, and 2 W's. If you combine all of those W's together, you're going to get 6W. Plus, the only things we have left are 2 8's. 8 plus 8 equals 16. And that there is going to be our equation for that part of this question. Now we're going to solve out this equation to find the width of this rectangle. In order to get the W by itself, first we need to start by minusing 16 from both sides, which is going to get us 80. 80 equals 6W, and then we're going to divide out the 6, and that's going to leave us with the width equaling 13.33 repeating. That is our width, but we're not done. It's asking us for the dimensions of the rectangle. We have the width, now we have to use that width to figure out the length. We know that the width of this rectangle is 8 more than twice the width. We can easily figure that out by plugging in our width into our original equation. So we will have 2 times 13.33 plus 8. If we multiply this out, 2 times 13.33 is going to be 26.66 plus our 8, which is going to equal 34.66 as our length. So we have our length of 34.66 and our width of 13.33. All right, on to number 5. For a birthday party, Mr. Perkins orders 8 chocolate chip cookies and 16 sugar cookies. Each cookie is the same price. He also picks up a cupcake for himself, which is $2.75. The total bill is $44.03. What is the cost of a cookie? So our variable here is going to be cost of cookie. And we know that at the end, the total is $44.03. So that is what's going to go in the beginning of this equation. The only thing he bought that wasn't a cookie was the cupcake, which was $2.75. We already know the price of that, so we're going to put that in. Then we're going to add in the amount of cookies that he bought. He bought 8 chocolate chip cookies and 16 sugar cookies, but it says here that each cookie is the same price, so we can lump those all in together. So we just need to add 16 and 8, which is what? He bought 24 cookies, and our variable is the price of the cookies, so we're going to put our price right there. Oh, that's hard to see. Oh my gosh. 24x. That is our equation. I'm going to go over to another page to solve this out. Okay, let's solve this. We are going to get rid of this 275 and subtract it from both sides. I don't know why that's working. There we go. 4403 minus 275 is going to give us 4128 equals 24x. Then we are going to divide out the 24, which leaves us with x equals $1.72. That is how much each cookie costs. All right, final question. Mrs. Johnson just purchased a total of 12 books and magazines for her office. The total bill was $112. She spent $16 on magazines and the books cost $12 each. How many books did she buy? So now, instead of finding the variable of the cost, we are going to be figuring out how many books she bought based on the cost. So our variable is number of books. We know the total was $112, and that 16 of those dollars were spent on magazines. Adding to that, the $12 each of each book, but the unknown number of books, and that is going to be our equation. In order to solve this, we're going to subtract 16 from both sides, which is going to leave us with 96 on the left side, and we're going to divide by 12 on both sides. Is going to leave us with x equals 8, and that is how many books she bought.